Hi everyone, good morning. We'll start in about 5 to 6 minutes so that participants can join. Thank you.
Have you started the recording, Arti?
Asim, it was started automatically when I started the meeting. Yes.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
okay. Yeah. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Aarti Chauhan and I manage the software donation program here at Nasscom Foundation. I have Bhavna from NGO Empowerment team with me. We'll start with a little bit of housekeeping. All lines are muted, so if you have any technical issues throughout the session, please type it into the chat box, which is on your webinar panel. Also, if you have any questions during the session, please type it into the Q&A box. If you are on Wi-Fi connection and have multiple programs open, this can sometimes affect the quality of the audio and the video of the webinar. So if possible, please close all other programs to help you have the best experience. Please note this webinar is being recorded and the link of the recording will be available on the Nasscom YouTube page. Now I would like to give you an overview about Nasscom Foundation and the NGO empowerment. So, we as an Nasscom Foundation are the only not-for-profit entity which is representing the tech industries, and we are working for over more than 20 years in Tech for Good. Some of the programs powered by Tech for Good are diversity and inclusion, innovation spaces, solutions for good, and we have a strong nationwide presence to facilitate last mile impact. Under NGO empowerment, we are strengthening the social ecosystem by leveraging technology to create a resilient and self-sufficient NGO sector that can effectively address societal challenges and drive positive change in communities across India. And under NGO empowerment, also, we are running three programs, which are software donation services, My Kartavya, capacity building programs. Uh, Big Tech is a platform for technology philanthropy, and it is an initiative in association with TechSoup, a not-for-profit technology organization based in US. And under Big Tech program, we run three different programs. NGO software donation program, which is in which I think all of know that NGO software donation, where we offer NGOs the subsidized software at affordable prices. NGO validation services, where we as the company's validating partner, we validate the NGOs to avail the services directly through the company's website. NGO Source is it's an equivalency determination service where we help the US grant makers streamline their international grant making process. My Kartavya is a corporate volunteering program where we connect the industry associates to a wide range of opportunities to help non-profits to create better social impact. And we our offerings entails under skill-based and virtual, where we will be doing website revamping, creation of data dashboards, career counseling, mentorship programs, and many more. I would like to talk about the impact we have created so far. So, 1.69 billions worth of software is donated to the nonprofits. And since the nonprofits came to our Big Tech platform, they have saved rupees 1.58 billion worth of money. And with this, we have created 2.7 million lives have been impacted across India. And more than 13,000 NGOs are registered in Big Tech, and 30 plus corporates and more than 36,000 volunteers are engaged with us. And also, some of our Big Tech donors here are categorized in different verticals, where under infrastructure, we have AWS, Azure, Box, Dropbox. Under marketing and comms, we have Adobe, Acrobat, Zoom, and Constant Contact. Under donor management, we have Tableau, Zoho, and Asana. And security and backup, for that we have Bitdefender, Norton, QuickKey. And for operations, which is I think the day-to-day activities which take place under the operations, we have Autodesk, DocuSign. A few of the top donors here are also we have highlighted. Uh, Now I just want to talk about few, highlight few challenges which NGO faces while working on proposals or specifically working on, CSR proposals. So few are understanding the corporate priorities, clearly defining the problem statement, defining measurable impact and outcomes, weak budgeting, financial planning, sustainability and exit strategies, and delayed follow-ups and poor communication. So, to cater these challenges, I would like to call upon Asim, our speaker of the day. He is a seasoned CSR professional with over a decade of experience in the development sector. He is an alumnus of Tata Institute of Social Sciences, and his contributions backed several recognitions in the field of CSR, including the Social Impact Leader 2024, Mahatma Gandhi Award 2023, CSR Times Award 2022, and Indian Achievers Award 2021. Asim has also authored two books, CSR An Act of God, published in 2023, and Social Work During War, published in 2025. And currently, he works as the CSR lead at Cadence Design Systems. Thank you so much, Asim. Over to you. Welcome.
Thank you, Aarti, and thank you everyone for joining and taking out time for this session. Before I start, I would just like to tell you that during the session, if you have any questions, you can put it on the chat box. And I saw somebody writing whether we'll get these PPTs. I don't know why in these sessions people are so much after PPTs. And right at the start, Aarti was just in the middle. So please show some, uh, bend towards the person who's speaking. Please concentrate. And then everybody, I urge them to please take out uh, a notepad and a pen so that you can take down notes. And even if you get this PPT, but you don't get the essence behind it, the cost will be lost. Okay? The cost will be lost. So please take out the pen paper and then today in how to write a proposal, I'll just take you through executive summary, how to make a face sheet or the first sheet of your proposal. Then I'll take you how to write about your NGO or how to introduce your NGO, how to write the goals and the activities, the objectives, and some of the other things like risk mapping and what are the things that a corporate looks at when they look at your proposal. So if you have any questions, do reach out to us on the comment box and later also some people would like to unmute and ask their question, they will be allowed to do so. So Aarti, I'm just starting with this, right?
Yes, Asim, you can start share.
Take out your notepads and pens and then take notes, guys. So I'll start with, as I said, the executive summary. So the executive summary you can either make it right at the start of the proposal or even at the end of the proposal. Like if you are writing a proposal, you want to start with the crux, that what will be the crux of this project. Many people tell us that the corporates don't give you enough time to present your proposals. So here the executive summary comes in critical, that you can give a one pager sort of a note or a two pager sort of a note. And this is something in between the concept note and the proposal. This is much before the concept note. First the executive summary, concept note, and then the proposal. That's how I look at things. So if you this is a face sheet of your proposal. If somebody looks at your proposal, they know the executive summary, they know what the proposal may look like. And if they want details, they can refer to your proposal. Project title. I think this is one of the major things. Many people get drawn to looking at your proposal when they look at your title. Like recently, we were looking at a proposal that was on lake restoration. So the title was "Wake the Lake." Now, wake the lake, there's no display. Aarti, are you able to see the screen?
Yes, Asim. Yeah.
And there's people writing that there's no display. I'll continue. So if you have a strong sort of a title that can draw you, if you can have a clue with the government, people are saying that they can't see the screen.
I think some are visible.
Maybe I'm taking
Ah,
a different way.
no, I think most of them are able to see. You can start again sharing. I can see your screen. Is it okay now? I think now they are able to. Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, same. It's visible.
Second thing, first thing is project title. Second thing is location. Like if you have a strong project title, then you have to clearly mention the location. If you are writing to a corporate, then you also assume that there might be people who might be sitting in different countries looking at your proposal. So you need to mention clearly what is the village name, what is the block name, what is the district name, and what is the state name. And you then you write India. So for example, you are saying district Lucknow, state Uttar Pradesh, and India. And if there is a block, you're working in a block or in a village, then you mention that also. The location has to be specifically clearly mentioned. Thematic area. For thematic area, please refer to the Schedule 7 of Section 135 Companies Act. You look at the thematic areas, whatever thematic areas are mentioned there, they're like promoting healthcare, um, promoting education, or disaster management, environment and sustainability, whatever the thematic, use those thematic areas only. Don't create your own thematic area. So that confuses. And don't also mix two thematic areas, whether it is skill development or whether it is uh, cleaning of Ganga, whatever you want to specify, just refer to the Schedule 7 and pick a thematic area from there. Project duration. If you have a project which will run into 3 years or 5 years, you can mention it here itself. That okay, this proposal is for an annual thing, but we want this project to be a 3-year project or a minimum 5-year project. You can mention it here itself. Okay. Proposed budget, you clearly mention what is the bottom line of the, don't give the budget right here in this executive summary, the detailed budget, but just the bottom line of the project, the budget. What is it? Proposed budget. Broad objective, you keep it as broad as possible. Like if you say that I want to, through this proposal, we want to, we we envisage, या हमारा thought है कि ये district cataract free हो जाएगा, or we need to have we need to connect the people, uh, uh, people with disability to the formal schooling. You keep it broad. The broad objective can be really broad. Like for example, if you are doing a project on environment, you can say eradicating crop residue burning. That is a broad objective. Project synopsis. Now you have to give a key 3-liner or a 2-liner thing, that what exactly you are proposing. So for example, you are saying that you want to eradicate crop residue burning in this area through providing technical training and also logistics to the farmers, 1500 farmers. This is a project synopsis that you can give in 3-4 lines, that what exactly you're trying to achieve through this project. Major activities. If you are saying that you want to do a skill development program, then what activities will come? First activity can be that you will probably hire a team, then identify the people who want that skill development, mobilization, then a 3 month program wherein every week you will be teaching these students for 4 hours, and then you are finding jobs for them and then linking them to the market, and then you are analyzing that at least 70% or 80% out of those people are job placed. So this is how you can step by step tell your broad activities what you want to do. Expected outcomes or previous impact. If you have already done this similar project previously with any other corporate, this is only I'm speaking about from the CSR perspective. If you have done a project which is you have already done with a corporate, then what has been the impact? Or if you haven't done this, is you are pitching for the first time, then you can say that after 1 year or after 2 years or after 3 years, what is the impact that you are trying to show? Now people will ask me that whether the impact should be in numbers or it can be qualitative. It can be both. It can be qualitative, it can be quantitative, anything. But there has to be some outcome that you are looking at after 3 years, 5 years, 1 year, 10 years. You have to mention that. And please don't overcommit when expected outcomes are talked about. Like the second part of the proposal, the second chapter of the proposal, then it will be about the NGO. Many people keep writing about their NGO, or whoever is the NGO founder. You keep writing about the founder that they have got a president award, they have got Man Ki Baat, and all those things. Please don't write about all these things. Just keep it very short and simple. That when that NGO was started, how how is it registered? Is it registered as a trust, as a society, as a Section 8? What was the purpose of starting that NGO? What is the mission and vision of that NGO? What are the key projects that you have taken, or what are the key projects you want to work on? What are the geographical areas you want to work in? What are the thematic areas you want to? Don't write that we work pan India, we work on any thematic area, you tell us which way. Don't write all. You just tell what is your focus area here. Give a short brief about your board members, 1 or 2 lines. 1 or 2 lines are enough as of now. For more details, people can view your website. But just give good promoters of NGO really give a very good impact to the corporate that okay, people who are seasoned campaigners, they are behind your NGO. Awards, accolades, if there have been any awards, just if there are multiple awards you have been getting, just give the previous 4 or 5 years award, the latest awards that you have got, or any major achievement that you have got, you can mention it here. Notable NGO partners. So NGO partner doesn't have to be only the corporate. It can be other NGO implementing partners. If you are working with any implementing organizations, if you're working with the government, people who are there in JNK, if you're working with the army there, anywhere you are working with noticeable partners, you have to mention it here. So this is about the NGO. This is crisply that this may run into 1 or 1.5 pages depending on your NGO, but don't go too much into detail. For details, people can always go to your website. Three comes your problem. So now we are getting into the proposal. Okay, whatever topic, don't deviate from the topic. Just stay focused on the what is the history of that problem. If you are proposing about any health issue, what has been the history of that health issue? Is there any history of that health issue in your area? If you are talking about floods, is there any history of floods in the area you are proposing? So you have to mention about the history of that problem, that historically, maybe historically it is a problem. If not historically it is a problem, there has to be some recent history. That is why you have identified that problem. And support it with data. If you have done any study on your primary basis, on your personal basis, then mention that as per our study, if you're going into schools, if there are not enough female students, you say that female education in that area is an issue. We have done a study in 5 schools. This is what we came up with. Or if there is any secondary data, like a data from any credible source. Don't take any non-credible sources. Just take credible, like ASR report, or is there any government report that has come out about education, about health in that area. Then you can cite that. What is the rationale behind choosing this proposal? Why have you chosen this proposal? What is the rationale behind this issue? You have to mention that. And why a corporate should give you this proposal. So assuming you are writing about, again, say STEM education, that you want to set up STEM labs in 10 schools, in 10 government schools, then there might be a case where already other NGOs have proposed it to the corporate. So here is a chance, here is the space where you can tell the corporate that, okay, this is the reason why we should get this proposal. We should get this project. Okay. So this is about the background problem of the problem and the issue. We're moving to the fourth point. Goals and objectives. Short-term goals, if it is an annual project, just give a short-term goal, because long-term goal anyways you won't be able to achieve in 1 year. But even if it is a multi-year project, you can tell annually what is it that you're trying to achieve. There has to be something that you are trying to achieve. uh, I know there might be projects which we will say कि नहीं एक साल में in 1 year there will be no impact, एक साल में impact आ ही नहीं सकता. But there has to be something at the area, at the end of the year that you may be aiming at. Just please write it. And maybe there are today there are only 15 students. You may make it want to make it 25 students at the end of the year. Just write it. Again, if it is a multi-year project, so your short-term goals should match to your long-term goals. If it's a long-term project that you are proposing, just write, okay, what through these short activities I want to achieve this long goal, the long objective, or the goal that you want to achieve through these annual activities. That I will do continuously for 3-5 years. I want to achieve this. Specific, be very. So in the executive summary, you have mentioned broad objective. Here is your chance to write specific objective, and it should be connected to the broad objective. So you write the broad objective in a way that here you can break it down. Here is your chance to break it down, that okay, this is the broader thing, the broader issue, the broader aspect, and now I want to be specific with that, because even within an issue you can't solve all the issues. You have to be very specific. Moving on to strategies and activities. Again, whatever you have already listed the activities in the executive summary, here you can elaborate those activities, or if you want to add more activities here other than the broader activities, you can mention it here, and it has to be aligned to the objectives. That the if in the previous slide, like I told you, the specific objective point C, here is your chance to write the activities that how the objectives will be met through these activities, through these strategies, how you plan to meet those objectives. Because it is very important, guys, please understand, to tell the corporate that okay, you have identified the issue, you feel that you are passionate about that issue, but what are the activities, step by step activities that you want to take to eradicate that issue or to work on that issue for the next 3-5 years or 1 year. Moving on, implementation, point 6. So in all the projects, you will be hiring some people to work on that project. Here is your, and even this is even before you are presenting the budget. Budget will come later, the detailed budget. But here it is your chance to tell the people who are reading your proposal that okay, we will be hiring 4 people in this project, like a project manager, project director, project coordinator, and fund or and community mobilizer. What will be the roles and responsibility of those 4 people? So tomorrow, in the next page, when they see your budget, when they analyze your budget, they won't ask you कि इस project में 4 लोग क्यों चाहिए? Why do you need 4 people in this project? Because you have already mentioned here that I need these 4 people, and this will be their roles and responsibility. And then link with implementation plan and strategy. जो भी ये roles and responsibility, it should be linked with your previous 2 slides. Like you have already mentioned the strategy, you have already mentioned the plan of implementation. Now here is your chance कि okay, ये plan हो गया, ये activity हो गई. अब now these people who will be hired will be implementing this plan. So it is all linked. If you see slide number 3, 4, 5, 6, it is all linked to each other. And you are not digressing from the issue. आप issue से भटक नहीं रहे. Issue पे ही हैं और आप बता रहे हो कि ये step by step ऐसे होगा. I'm moving on. Outcome and impact. Again, जो मैंने executive summary में कहा था, here you can be slightly more detailed about the impact that you endeavor to put out of this project. इस project से आप क्या impact लाना चाह रहे हो society में? Small impact, short term impact, long term impact. What is the impact that you are trying to create out of this project? या तो आप इसमें प्रीवियस वाले, अगर जैसे मैंने कहा एग्जीक्यूटिव समरी में, लाइक आई मेंशन्ड इन द एग्जीक्यूटिव समरी, if you have already done projects which are similar projects in different, maybe in a different geographical location. You can mention that okay, we did this project in 10 villages. This was the outcome, but now we are proposing you 5 villages or 20 villages. And now since we have already proven our record, since we have already proven our metal, through your funding or through your grant, we will try to get this impact. And if you haven't done this project before, if this is a new project, then you can also mention that annually. Then you can break it down into annually and or after 3 years or 5 years, how do you see this project making an impact? Like for example, if you're giving a higher education scholarship, अब higher education scholarship है तो at least the students will study for 2 to 3 years, 4 years maybe. Then you can show that okay, we are taking engineering students which will study for 4 years, and after 4 years they will all be engineering graduate, and out of them at least 80% will find jobs, and rest of them will either be entrepreneurs or they will go for a master's degree. This is what you can show as an impact. Moving on, you have to tell the corporate that how will you see. A corporate can choose an external monitoring and evaluation agency, they can do it, but since in the budget you will be mentioning about reporting a bit about monitoring and evaluation, what are the tools and techniques that you will use to monitor this project and monitor the impact of this project? Here is your chance to write, so that corporate also thinks that okay, even if I don't keep an external third party for monitoring and evaluation, this NGO is equipped enough, they have the personnel, they have the people who can give me a good enough report, and I don't need to spend extra on the third party. So they know the tools, they know the techniques, they've already, and they will be able to do it. Here is your chance to do it. Point number rise is risk mapping. This may or may not be included in all the projects. This is not required in all the projects, but there will be projects in which you will tell the risk well in advance to the donor that okay, you want us to do this project in this area, but in this area, for example, if it is a flood prone area, disaster prone area, or an earthquake prone area, you can always tell that okay, this is an earthquake prone area or this is a flood prone area, and there is a risk in implement. There might be a risk in implementing this project, or you can think of any other risk. So, and you may completely choose not to mention. So this is an optional point that you may mention or you may not mention. Budget. So budget, guys, I think for budget there should be a separate session as to how you should be making a budget. But I think when I look at a proposal in the first itself, the first go, the first impression, I want to know how much spending is done in human resource, how much spending is done in operational cost, how much spending is done in documentation reporting, how much spending is done is in capital, in asset. So if you can clearly mention these 4 5 different areas, I would know that okay, out of this 10 lakh, 2 lakh spent on this, 2 lakh spent. So it should be crisply mentioned. And if I want to go in detail, I will ask you for a detail later on maybe. But in the budget itself, you should be able to crisply mention what are the areas that you are looking at. Okay. And you want funds. Since it is a proposed budget, it should be open for discussion. That it can be increased or decreased. It can be scaled up or scaled down. So you should keep that thing open. So guys, here is your chance to ask any questions if you want to ask. You know, I'm just stopping my presentation here. I hope I'm in time, Arti.
Yeah, if you want to, cover a few things, you can. We have time.
No, I think I'll take questions, and then if something is
Okay,
left, I'll go ahead.
sure.
Uh,
Yes, I think Rajesh. Let me just check the Q&A first. Do we have anything here? There is one question. If the project is sustainable, there is no specific duration. providing education. He's giving an example like providing education to the students. What should we mention in the proposal regarding the duration?
Sorry, can you come again?
Yeah, if the project is sustainable and there is no specific duration to that project, so what should be mentioned in the proposal regarding the duration?
If the project is sustainable, self-sustainable, then why do you need funding also? First thing comes to mind. So maybe the word sustainable is not clear in your mind yet. Sustainable project means that it is self-sustainable. It doesn't need funding. If it is an ongoing project, you should use the word ongoing project. So that is why these vocabularies are important. If it is an ongoing project, year after year, like a school project, then you don't need to mention the duration. You just say that okay, this is an ongoing school, it is an NGO run school, and we would need your continued support. That's it. But you can mention the budgets annually.
Yeah. Just a minute. How reliable are the mediating agencies like IGNIO? If CSRs don't rely on such agencies, how do we identify the right CSR and their timelines? Am I saying
Mediating
mediating
agencies.
agencies? I think
So
the
I see. I won't, since it's a recorded session. I won't be able to comment on any mediating companies that is for the corporate to look at. But there might be a practice which people will be using. I can't comment on that. But for people for corporates who have their full-time CSR person, they don't need mediators. So for them, they rely on their full-time CSR hire to give them feedback. That is how I look at it. There are a lot of
one
questions
question.
coming. Yes.
How do we handle the ongoing or existing projects data points?
How do we handle existing project data points?
Ongoing or existing projects data points.
ये थोड़ा सा I want some more details on this question. मतलब how, what is it? Can you give an example? Data points, handle. There are a lot of portals and software. You can use those portals and software to handle data. What else you are looking at? Probably if you can be more specific about the question.
Maybe we can take that on live questions
Hmm.
later. But yeah, if a corporate has healthcare and women empowerment, should two separate proposals be sent?
Nee, it is depending on what issue you are trying to uh, what, solve here. Is it more related to women empowerment or it is related to health? So there is no need to send two separate proposals. You can just tell that, and you can also gauge where the corporate's line of attack is more, and then accordingly mention the thematic areas.
There is one question from Anish. He's saying, please elaborate the importance of following, I think, Schedule 7, the thematic area, how it will impact our project proposal for livelihood and promotion of people with disability.
See, Schedule 7 should always be a referral point because it mentions where do you need to, how do you need to design your proposal, in which thematic area. So if you give thematic area, and all the corporates have policies, CSR policies, and even in their policies, they mention thematic area where their focus is. A is your focus, where you want to work. B is the focus of the corporate, they are where they are working, both in geographical or in thematic areas. So to align those things, you need to first see whether your work is aligned to their policy or not. There the Schedule 7 comes in very important. And unless and until you are well versed with the CSR policies and the CSR laws, I think it becomes tough to raise yourself in the CSR domain.
Okay, there is one question. If we give the proposal and ask for 20 lakhs, for example, and the funding agency does not agree to that and gives a very small amount to test how it works within the small budget, should we take that or not?
Yeah, that's a very good question. What you can do is you can see whether you can tone down your beneficiary number. For example, if you have given a 20 lakh budget for 100 people, and if they are only giving you 10 lakhs, can you tone it down to 50 people and do a pilot for them and then say, can we have already achieved our goals in the small budget. Now you can, many a times it happens that they will say, okay, get take this budget and show us whether what are the results of this proposal on the ground. In the next financial year, we will see whether you want to scale it up or not. So this is very much doable. You see whether आपको कैसा लग रहा है, आप you are able to do it or not do it. ऐसा तो नहीं आपके जेब से you are spending too much to get this proposal done. So you have to look at your own capacities in terms of monetary capacity.
How to project measurable impact on the initiative taking care of sustainable livelihood development through circular economy. It is such a large umbrella. How to start and collect data points for ESG reporting?
ये लार्ज अम्ब्रेला में क्वेश्चन भी लार्ज हो गया, तो इसके लिए तो अलग से सेशन हो सकता है. सो ESG रिपोर्टिंग से शुरू करा आपने, पे खत्म किया आपने, और उससे पहले आपने सस्टेनेबल और इतना वेग जाने की जरूरत नहीं है सेक्टर में. दैट इज व्हाई आई सेड बी वेरी स्पेसिफिक ऑन व्हाट प्रॉब्लम यू वांट टू सॉल्व. ऐसा नहीं कि आपने सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी भी सुन लिया, आपने ESG रिपोर्टिंग भी सुन ली. आपको क्यों ESG रिपोर्टिंग करनी है? हम तो यहाँ प्रपोजल के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. तो वेयर डज द ESG रिपोर्टिंग कम फ्रॉम? So we have digressed from the issue, and this happens in the social sector so many times. एजुकेशन पे काम करते करते हम एकदम हेल्थ पे चले जाएंगे कि जब तक बच्चा हेल्थी नहीं होगा एजुकेशन कैसे होगी. फिर एजुकेशन है पर हेल्थ नहीं है, और हेल्थ है फिर एजुकेशन नहीं है, तो हम इसी में झूलते रहते हैं. इट इज अ सी सॉ. डोंट बी वरीड अबाउट टू मेनी थिंग, जस्ट हिट द नेल ऑन द हेड. वही इशू उसी पे हम पकड़ के चलेंगे. हाँ, इंटरेस्टिंग.
Um, yes. How do you design the outcome of a project, like in environment or climate change, when the data from government agencies are not completely authentic?
हाँ, तो देखिए गवर्नमेंट पे तो रिकॉर्डेड सेशन में गवर्नमेंट पे कमेंट नहीं किया जाता है. आपको पहले मैं बता दूं, यू कांट कमेंट ऑन द गवर्नमेंट. वो अपने हिसाब से काम करते हैं, और आप उनको उनके उनके रेफरल पॉइंट लेने हैं लीजिए, नहीं लेने हैं कोई बात नहीं. तो उसमें क्या है कि एनवायरमेंट से रिलेटेड देयर इज ओनली वन वे प्रोबेबली यू कैन सी whether the carbon emission you have been able to reduce or not. This is one way of doing it. This is not the only way, by the way, but this is one way. And government data may not be right, but it is very authentic. People consider that data. You can start with that data. If you don't have money for a baseline or a pilot, then what is the choice that you are left with? So the choice is that you take that data and start working, and then tomorrow you can show that through our study it wasn't done. So don't be too worried about things that are not there. Just be worried. Plenty of things are there already. You start working with that.
Okay, before I take few more questions, I would like to share my screen where there is a feedback available. I like all the participants to fill that form so that we can have a better understanding of how we can make the coming sessions more fruitful. So please give the feedback.
There are
Right.
3 hands I have seen raised, and all 3
Yeah,
of them look very
I
serious.
will. Yeah, I will go to them, but I am finding few questions here. We will move on to the live questions just in 5 minutes or so. There is one question. Are there any websites which carry information on CSR projects on the whole?
CSR Exchange portal is there. You can review that.
Okay. And can we use LFA model in the proposed project proposal?
No, so I have kept the LFA model, but what happens with LFA is you have to first draw the corporate's attention to the cause you're doing. LFA should be a second step after the proposal is achieved. or they find some interest in the proposal. Once they get into talking terms with you, and they show, okay, we will do this project, we will invest. Then you go to LFA. Don't show the LFA right at the front, but it will dilute all that. I've already mentioned 8-9 points. First, let them read that. Then go to LFA.
I think we have more hands. So let's take live questions. So Rajesh, yeah, I think you can unmute and ask. Thank you. Rajesh, we're not able to hear you.
I think
Can
the
you?
allow mic karna padega. Yeah. Now you will be able to. The host has to allow mic. Yeah. No,
No,
Rajesh,
still
we can't hear
can't.
you.
Sorry, we can't hear you, Rajesh. Maybe we can move on and later on come back to you, Rajesh. Heal a Child, I think. Yeah, from Heal a Child Foundation. Can you unmute?
Now you can.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. So Heal a Child is focus area is only one thing where we support children's treatment who are admitted in hospital. So here the duration for the project will be only 2 weeks or 3 weeks, because after the child get discharged, it is just closed. So here, how does that reach if you are mentioning the duration of the project is 2 weeks or 3 weeks? Is it an acceptable proposal or not?
Then you have to write that in a year that you are aiming to heal 200 children.
That we will be able to do, but
And in
will
the bracket you write per patient 2 to 3 weeks. Then that makes the matters clear.
definitely.
In a
And
year,
one
we aim to heal in a year 100 patients, per patient this much.
got that. And one more question, sorry. Here you had mentioned us that risk area has to be mentioned. So Heal a Child, only we have risk area is when the child is expired or when the child is discharged on LAMA or DAMA. So when we are mentioning in the proposal that definitely out of 100 children, I can say 10 children would have left with LAMA or child expired in a year. So how does that reach if you're mentioning that in the risk mapping?
Yeah, so you can write that in our previous experiences, that is why the risk is important. Tomorrow, corporate cannot say that we never knew. Like for example, in an education project, people may drop out. But who talks about dropout people even before getting the project? Nobody talks about dropout. But then there are dropouts.
Yes.
In a skill development project, everybody won't get jobs.
True.
So you then have to write that, okay, in your sort of a project, you have to write that in our previous experiences, this much percentage people have lost their lives.
Got it.
But we try, because of our intervention, so many lives were saved also.
Got that.
So that space is your opportunity to show the corporate also we are not 100%, but then we have been very good. So that is one way of looking at it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right. Moving on to, I think, Redu Vora. Can you unmute?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yes.
Renuji, please go on.
Okay. Okay. Now I'm from Alzheimer's Related Disorders Society of India, and we have a problem that quite a few of CSR funding, they don't have Alzheimer's or issues related to the mental health in the CSR. How do we do that? Well, how do we go around it?
That is one issue, ma'am. That is one issue that the CSRs have not been able to cater to. They need to slightly expand their ambit. But if you push, there is certainly an issue. I think in this case, CSRs need to educate themselves slightly more.
Right, right. That's exactly what I was trying to say. That yeah. So how do we go about it? Like in the proposal, first we have to educate them. The first thing, or what do we do?
That is why the history and the cause and everything that I mentioned becomes important. That
Okay.
even in healthcare, the
Right,
Alzheimer issue is an issue which is faced by so many people. You find an authentic source of the data,
right,
and then you show that this even within healthcare, this is a grave issue. So
right,
then
right.
then the corporates are educated. Okay, oh, this is such a grave issue. We never knew about it.
Yeah, because according to the Lassie reports, there are almost 9 million people who are suffering from dementia in our country, and which is
Mhm.
a huge number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
then
we
if you mention those credible sources, then
right,
probably the corporates will start thinking in direction that this cause is also important.
right,
But then
right,
also when it comes to mental health,
right.
we only are talking about depression.
Yes, yes, that's right.
If at all we are talking about mental health, we are only talking about depression. So
Right,
depression
right.
has been made an issue by the celebrities, by the people who are work from home. Now work
Yes.
from home and they have to come back to office. They are now depressed.
Mm-hmm.
And even in depression, there are multiple facets. I'm a psychology student. I know everything is not
Right.
depression.
Exactly, exactly.
So
And
then
also,
people have to be
yeah,
educated well. The
right, right.
celebrities have used the word mental health synonymous to depression.
Yes. No, but another thing, there are celebrities who have been suffering from Alzheimer's, but it is such a stigma that they don't even want to talk about it.
So then
So
stigma
how
and
do
taboo is another issue.
yes.
So all these issues have to be you have to come forward.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Renu.
Rajesh, can you unmute? Try once more. No.
No,
Rajesh, you can do
Rajesh.
one thing. You can either log in again. Will that work? Let's try.
Let's try and maybe write in our Q&A box, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to Sudhanshu Shekhar. Can you
हाँ,
unmute?
सुधांशु शेखर नहीं, उनको तो पहले हमें वो देना पड़ेगा, राइट? हाँ,
Yeah, I did that.
okay. Sudhanshu, you can
Sudhanshu,
now unmute.
are you there, Sudhanshu?
Also, I'll do one more thing. By the time they're asking, Aarti, I'll showcase my LinkedIn profile ka QR code so that people who are not able to ask here can ask me there. So if you can just
Yes.
allow me to share the screen.
Yes, just a minute.
So guys, here is my LinkedIn QR code. If you want to ask any more questions from me, here it is. Okay, so you can ask questions from me here. I'm
Okay.
active on LinkedIn. You can add me on LinkedIn and ask your questions. Yeah.
Yes, please ask questions. Moving on, Enlightening Young Minds Foundation. Can you unmute?
Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, myself Subodh. So our question is, how can we are basically a newly established organization, and how we will present our experience and highlight our projects when it is we are new to the sector.
You are a new organization and you are saying that you don't have a previous background, right?
Yes, yes, yeah.
How old is your organization?
Only 1 year, sir.
So for CSR, you need at least 3 years of experience, right? I hope you know that.
Yes, yes.
So for the next years, you start doing some campaigns, some things that is worth watching and worth taking note of. And then after 3 years, you can start pitching. It is your time to make your portfolio. make your thing, and so that tomorrow you can showcase.
Okay, fine.
Yeah,
Thank you.
this is your time. Because you start with campaigns, you start with volunteering. You invite the corporates to volunteer with you. You run unique campaigns. You have to first identify which thematic area you want to work in. Start developing campaigns around it. And then once your portfolio is built, then you can start pitching around and see that okay, you have already shown credible work in this field of area, in this area, and then you want to showcase further.
Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot, sir.
I have a question from Rajesh. He has written in Q&A. Is NGO Darpan ADG 12A mandatory for raising funds?
Yes, it is. You need to have a CSR Form 1 CSR registration number. You need to have NGO Darpan portal registration, ATG 12A, then only you will be. And minimum 3 years of experience of working. Then you will be able to.
Just okay. Moving on. I think Manoj Anand from Lighthouse Foundation. Can you unmute? Manoj, are you there? All right. Awadh Folklore Group.
We lost your voice in between.
Me?
Yeah.
Am I audible now?
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay. Awadh Folklore. Are you there?
We can read some questions from the chat box. I think many people are writing in the chat box. We can use that also. We still have 8 minutes left, right?
Yes. Yeah. Just a minute. Sudhanshu, you have a question?
Hello, sir. Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Hello, good afternoon.
सर मेरा एक क्वेश्चन है, क्या मैं हिंदी में बोल सकती हूँ सर?
बिल्कुल.
सर मेरा ये क्वेश्चन है, हमारी संस्था अवध फोक आर्ट ग्रुप लखनऊ से 32 सालों से सर आर्ट एंड कल्चर को प्रमोट और प्रिजर्व कर रही है। सर लास्ट टाइम हमारे साथ प्रॉब्लम ये हुई थी, हम गए थे सोनभद्र। हमारा वहाँ प्रोग्राम प्रॉपर चलता रहता है, पर वहाँ एक प्रॉब्लम ये हुई कि जब हम कल्चर प्रोग्राम अपना वहाँ करते रहते हैं, लेकिन जब हमने कल्चर प्रोग्राम किया तो वहाँ जो आर्टिस्ट थे हमारे सर, उनमें नशे की लत बहुत ज्यादा है। छोटे बच्चे से लेके बड़े तक हमने पूरा उस एरिया के ऊपर सर्वे किया तो समझ लीजिए 10 साल से बच्चे से लेके करीब 36 साल 38 साल या जो भी 50 साल के जो भी बड़े बुजुर्ग हैं, औरतें महिलाएं सब नशे की लत में है सर। वहाँ पे शाम को 4 बजे के बाद जैसे वहाँ सन्नाटा सा पसर जाता है सर, और उनके पास पानी भी पीने के लिए नहीं और रहने के लिए घर भी नहीं है सर। तो थोड़े हमारी इसमें ये हेल्प कीजिए कि हम CSR अब हेल्प चाहते हैं उनसे, क्योंकि हमारी मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कल्चर से हम ग्रांटी है तो प्रॉपर ग्रांट मिलती रहती है हमको, लेकिन अब हमें उसमें फंड की आवश्यकता है, क्योंकि उनके लिए हमें नशा मुक्ति अभियान भी चलाना है ताकि वो नशे की ग्रस्त से बाहर निकले। प्लस में उनके लिए कुछ ऐसा वर्क जो प्रॉपर उनको वर्क और काम मिलता रहे, क्योंकि सर वो थोड़ा सा वैसा एरिया है कि बिल्कुल वो लोग खुद अपने हाथ से देसी शराब बना लेते हैं, खुद पी लेते हैं सर। तो इस चीज आप थोड़ा हमें थोड़ा सा इसमें सलाह दीजिए हमको कि हम कैसे उनको इस प्रॉब्लम से बाहर निकाल सके।
हम उसके लिए तो अलग से सेशन करना पड़ेगा नशा मुक्ति के लिए, क्योंकि ये कई सारे स्टेट्स की प्रॉब्लम है। और मुझे लगता है कि जो NGOs हैं उनको ये बात और नेशनल पोर्टल पे जोरदारी से उठानी चाहिए, अगर उनको लगता है कि वहां पे ये इशू है। हम तक ये इश्यूज ही नहीं पहुंचते, या दुनिया की मीडिया में ये इश्यूज ही नहीं है कि वहां के लोग नशे से ग्रस्त हैं। तो क्यों नहीं हम इन चीजों को एजेंडे पे ला पाते हैं? ये मुझे और आपको दोनों को सोचना है, ये सिर्फ आपका इशू नहीं है। और ये जब आप किसी कॉर्पोरेट के पास लेके जाओ कि हम ये कर रहे हैं, तब भी वो कॉग्निजेंस संज्ञान नहीं लेते उस चीज का।
सर
ठीक है,
वहां पे सर कहते हैं WHO भी वर्क कर रहा है, पर अगर वर्क कर रहा है तो वर्क दिख नहीं रहा है सर, ना उनके पास एजुकेशन, घर, कुछ भी नहीं सर, बिल्कुल जैसे ऐसा लग रहा है जैसे वो निष्कासित हो चुके हैं देश के, पता नहीं कौन सी दुनिया में जी रहे हैं वो।
यही तो इशू है ना ये। अब इसके लिए तो अलग से सेशन करना पड़ेगा, और हमारे पास सिर्फ 4-5 मिनट बचे और ऑलरेडी 8-10-15 क्वेश्चन ऐसे हैं जो, बस ठीक है, लिंक्डइन पे आप जुड़िए तो फिर हम लोग आगे कभी बात कर सकते हैं जी।
ओके सर, थैंक यू सर।
क्विकली क्वेश्चंस बता दीजिए अपने सब लोग।
There is one question. We work in the anti-human trafficking space with interventions in education and skill development. One of the challenges we face with CSR Foundation is that in our budget, the human resource portion is high. This is because we are a facilitative organization where staff inputs are high and not a welfare agency where we dole out things. We aim to empower the women and children we work with. Often CSR don't seem to get this and it becomes difficult to convince them. NGO staff salaries are a critical component which CSR seems to reduce in the final budget, making sustainability of the work a challenge.
तो मैंने इसीलिए तो आपको वो स्लाइड में जो द स्लाइड आई शोड वेर इन यू हैव टू मैप, you tell in front, right up in front only कि उन स्टाफ को जो आप हायर करो उनका काम क्या होगा, that is one of the ways of telling. अब CSR को वो नहीं पता चल रहा तो उसके लिए हमें CSR के साथ सेशन करना चाहिए, आपके साथ सेशन नहीं करना चाहिए। आपके साथ जब हम सेशन कर रहे हैं तो हम यही बता सकते हैं कि जो मैंने स्लाइड उसमें दिखाई जिसमें मैंने बताया कि वो जो जो पर्सनल है, the activity of who will be employed within this project and what is their job, it has to be listed very clearly right up at the front. If they don't agree with the budget, show them that the slide के भाई वो मैंने वहां लिखा तो आप बताओ कहां से काम कर दें, then it will be a discussion. हम यहाँ बैठे हमें तो लगता है कि सभी लोग अंडर वर्कड है, सबको लगता है कि नहीं 3 स्टाफ की क्या जरूरत है, 2 से काम हो जाएगा। एवरीबडी इज रिड्यूसिंग स्टाफ, इवन द बिग कंपनीज आर, तो वो भी रिड्यूस कर देते हैं आपका स्टाफ। तो ये एक चैलेंज तो रहेगा मैम कि ह्यूमन रिसोर्स का कॉस्ट, कल को आपको भी कोई प्रोजेक्ट में डिलीवर करने को होगा, आप भी उनके रिसोर्स काटोगे, नहीं यहाँ पे 3 लोग क्या जरूरत है, 2 ही लोग किसे करा लो। So it is a challenge. It will, few things will remain a challenge, और वो 1-2 सेशन से तो नहीं हटेंगी।
Okay, moving on. Narsi, can you unmute? Bindu. Vasanti Kumar.
ये अभी किसी का तो हाथ रेज देना है, सुधांशु
So
योर बैक।
You have a question? I think
Sudanshu, you
Narsi.
can
Narsi. Yeah, you can unmute Narsi. Sure. Okay,
Tarun has a question that how can we find CSR contacts? Start attending CSR summits and start searching CSR people on LinkedIn. That is how you can know about CSR people. No, there won't be any dictionary which will be or directory that will be presented to you कि ये लीजिए 100 लोग CSR का और वो आप उनको contact है, ऐसे नहीं होगा CSR. That is why networking and communications, regular communication becomes important. Nobody will present it to you. These are 100 contacts, please go and present. Even if you get the contact, you won't be able to reach out to them. They won't reply. So networking becomes an essential commodity, essential thing. Start attending. There are n number of CSR summits that are happening, conferences that are happening. Go in that, network with people, meet people. Simple.
Okay,
Yes.
I think in interest of time, we can't take more questions now, Asim. So what I can do is maybe now you have already shared your LinkedIn profile. They can directly reach out to you. And I have few questions with us. I mean, more questions. So maybe I can, route it to you and you can reply us on the emails and I can, share it with the participants here.